Through each level of consciousness, you are coming closer to your natural self. It begins to reveal itself more. The veils of the mind, as they thin, as we let go of control mechanisms, more and more our natural, authentic self can come through as our full consciousness beyond the ego I, the ego self. And clarity is the big keyword here. Clarity allows us to see beyond confusion, beyond doubts, beyond worries. Clarity is the outcome of spiritual awakening, where the mind purifies, and thus the divine truth shines forth, becomes more obvious. The mind itself is not pure. The mind was created by Lord Kal, Lord Brahm, Kal Niranjan. So the mind that is accompanying every living being in Brahmanda, in our universe, is actually part of Lord Brahm. It is his mind. And falsely, humanity identifies that it is my mind. While in reality, what is truly yours is the pure consciousness. And I will repeat, what is truly yours is the pure consciousness, supreme consciousness. God is truly yours. While everything else is actually not truly yours. This body is not truly yours because it has been, first of all, birthed by someone else called mother. It has been fed by the food of the earth. It has consumed the water of the earth. Even all our cells continuously renew. They're completely different than the ones that you were born with. So when we look deeper and deeper, this body is not truly ours. It's a vehicle, it's a tool. So the identity with the body is false, it's unreal. The same way the mind, even emotions, feelings, sensations, pleasures and pains are not truly ours. In reality, we are a witness as pure consciousness. We witness the pains and pleasures, thoughts, emotions, feelings, and bodily sensations. And the falsity is in identity, claiming that they are ours. So when we realize the nature of creation, the non-dual clarity, where on one hand there is a false identity, and on the other hand, the clarity to see the nature of creation, that every form of consciousness, such as your body, belongs to earth. Your mind belongs to Lord Brahm. Emotions are actually certain energy fields that you resonate with, and they come and go. Every different experience within the creation belongs to creation. And therefore, the Supreme God, Satpurush, is the one who witnesses all, is the one who, we may say, imagines the creation. But the creation in itself has no reality. It is transitory, temporary, cyclical. Even the mountains crumble over millions and billions of years. New planets come, other planets dissolve. So what we can see is that non-dual clarity reveals us our true nature beyond identity, beyond a ego or separate I identity. And what is revealed is the everlasting bliss. So along the journey, we encounter different positions, how we experience, from which we experience life, how we see life, how we live in the world. That's where we come back to the very old saying by Jesus that I am in this world, but I'm not of it. So the Christ or the self, the pure consciousness is not of this world. This world is a projection. As Meher Baba says, truth is actually simple, but the illusion makes it infinitely intricate. The illusion is highly complex, while the truth is very simple. There are very few people who actually possess an insatiable longing for the truth, and the rest allow the illusion to bind them ever and ever more. So a common human being allows the illusion to bind them. And even if they discover a certain portion of truth, for example, who is really governing the country, what's really going on with these and those events, these are very partial truths. These are only circumstances. But the real truth is that one is bound by illusion of existence, by illusion of his or her own identity. However, the actual truth is very simple. It must be completely and absolutely obvious. So clarity and truth must be completely obvious. The clarity is beyond doubt. It is the certainty of certainties, absolutely obvious. But when we live our life through the senses, the impure mind cannot reach the clarity and truth. So as Meher Baba says, let us love God as the soul of our souls. And in the height of this love lies the divine truth. Very beautifully, Sant Kabir Das points out, I know myself by being absorbed in the color of my real self, Satpurush. So he says, I know myself by being absorbed in Satpurush. When I realize myself being absorbed in the color of love, the ignorant people do not recognize the color of God's love that has actually colored the entire world. He says, however, this color never vanishes, and I'm absorbed completely in that immortal color of God's love. What a beautiful experience. I'm absorbed completely in that immortal color of God's love. So clarity completely transforms the way we see life, world, the way we experience life and the world. As Ramana says, doubts arise because of the absence of surrender. So if you surrender to the self, there will be no room for doubts and clarity will prevail. If you truly surrender to the self, to God, there will be no room for doubts. There will be no room for illusions if you completely surrender to God, the self. When you completely surrender to this clarity and truth of the Supreme God, even the world, the notion of the world disappear. The notion of my separate life in the environment of the world, this notion disappears. So what remains is the clear light itself. Of course, in a practical manner, everyone else still exists, but we do not give a strong reality to the existence of the world or others, a sense of others or a sense of the world. As you do not give importance, as you do not give reality of the otherness, of the worldness, what remains is the present clarity of your own self. However, the mind is shaking. Our attention tends to wander. And that is called weakness. When the mind is shaking, when our attention wanders into the senses, into energies, into various inner experiences, then we step out of the highway of divine light sound stream. We step out of the inner clarity, and thus the weakness prevails. Weakness is the biggest cause of the miseries in the whole world, because it is the strong beings who can stand firmly in the reality, in the truth, and the weakness makes one go astray. So non-dual clarity, there are many stages of non-duality, but for today's sake, let's call it a transcendent clarity. Completely reshapes the way we see the world, the way we see others. But how does it function in terms of relationships with the others, relationships with the world. So having the clarity, we can see much better what is actually happening. We can feel compassion to the sufferings of others. We can feel compassion that others are immersed in the illusion. Most of the world is still completely immersed in illusion. There is an awakening happening, but this awakening is more of a mental awakening that's happening around the world. And this spiritual awakening is still due to come. So compassion is important quality because with greater and greater clarity, we can see better where one is, what one experiences. How do the others see the world and their life? Just like you may see an animal walking in the forests in winter trying to find some food, you feel compassion because you know it's difficult. So being a human being, you may recognize the struggles of other living beings in their daily lives, and you can see more and more clearly how everything functions, how this world functions. At the same time, in relationships, non-dual clarity is extremely important because, first of all, you stop arguing so much. Because what are we truly arguing about? We're arguing about our fixed positions. This is how I see things. This is how you see things. We keep arguing on these different perspectives. However, rising above, we may see that both parties have a valid point, considering their situation. So if we truly consider the other, then we will understand from where they speak, from where they feel, from where they experience. And standing in opposition to that is foolish, because we may have 20 people seeing one thing and 20 people will have different viewpoints. But non-dual clarity is recognition of all different viewpoints, all different perspectives, all different streams of experiences, and recognizing the nature of differences. And we're not trying to achieve unity. We're not trying to make everybody agree on everything. Non-dual clarity is beyond unity. It is transcendent seeing of all differences, transcendent recognition of different qualities and streams, and that they simply play all together. As long as we identify with those differences, there will be always a conflict. So in a relationship, a non-dual relationship can recognize and acknowledge the other person's differences, recognizing that there's no meaning to fight about it. There's no need to stand strongly for your own separate truths. So, of course, coming to non-dual clarity, immediately gives a lot more peace, because you transcend a vast array of differences. And rising upwards, closer to divine, and ultimately within the divine, this is where we may recognize that the only real existence, or even more than real existence, is the actual supreme divine light. Because creation, in the largest sense, is manifested for the sake of experiences, which will always change, which will always evolve, which will always go through cycles. And that's the beauty of it, that life always changes, that you grow and mature and become wiser and older. And then there's a next life and you're a baby again. Start from the beginning and undergo again all the lessons, and hopefully you will reconnect with your soul and regain the wisdom of previous incarnations, and speedily will be able to catch up on your spiritual progress, so that you may continue your upward journey back to the divine, clearing the karma and realizing what already exists. You see, we never realize new. We never realize new. We always realize what already is, has been, and will be. What is new, or to whom it is new, it is to our mind that is new. Perhaps to the senses it is new, but the existence of God, it has ever existed. It is and always will be. We realize what already is. And that is how we arrive at deeper and deeper bliss of our divine self, of our consciousness itself.